I am the Big Tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, hearts full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big Tank.
He served in a few wars, he's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the tank.
I am the tank, Big Tank.
Tank Talk.
Tank.
Big Tank Talk.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Big Tank Talks. Change of host for this evening as we have our esteemed guest, the host of the show himself, Mr. Big Tank. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. It's an honor to be here and to be a guest again. And I appreciate you taking over the hosting and questioning duties, brother.
I feel honoured that you asked me, brother. I really do. Thank you very much. Hey, Ronan, welcome in, brother.
Hey, Ronan.
So, as you always ask the person normally in the hot seat, how did you come around to being on Clapper?
All right. About 8 years ago, I joined TikTok, and there was a political group I was part of, and I would go live with them there. And because you know how TikTok goes, everybody kept getting temporary bans from live and stuff, and TikTok was messing with our content. And I don't recall who found Clapper, but we kind of migrated to it back in 2020. I stayed political for a bit there and then lost my first account in March of 2021. So I started this account. I changed my content and became more about posting positivity and things to help people better themselves or just to be better, treat themselves better, so to speak. I've made a lot of good friends and I've met some really wonderful people on here. And I'm still here 5 years later.
Awesome. So, touching on the positive side of things, before we get into any questions about what you went through over the past 3 months, how did you become part of Team Positive Waves?
I became a fan of Uncle Timmy and the Team Positive Waves videos they posted. Always commenting, always liking and sharing them. And on Christmas Day of 2023, maybe 2024, I don't remember now. But on that, it was a Christmas Day, and Uncle Timmy sent me a message and asked me if I wanted to be a part of the team, which was I was absolutely thrilled to be asked. I am very happy to be a part of it. Um, whatever you think of the videos, the fact is the objective is to shout out the most positive, engaging people on Clapper, and that's what we do. And the whole point of it is spreading love and positivity. And the videos are intended to make you smile or laugh a little bit along the way.
That is true. And as a recent member of Team Positive Waves, I have this man to thank for getting me into that team of positive people. And I'm now part of the videos and I really enjoy it. So thank you for that, Tank. I appreciate you, brother.
You're absolutely welcome, brother. You're a good part of the team, brother.
So, yes, they are bugs. So, going back to December, when you found out that you was in the trouble that you was in, what alerted you about the problem?
I woke up at 5 a.m. on Christmas Eve morning, and I had a little bit of pain in my chest, a little bit of pain in my right armpit. Having had 2 previous heart attacks, I recognize the symptoms, but I've had some pains here and there along the way that were just not the same. So I got up, I went to the bathroom and came back, and I laid down for a little bit and just tried breathing through it, because if I could breathe through it, then I knew it wasn't a heart attack. But
Right.
after a half an hour, and the pain hadn't subsided, I got up. Tabby was up wrapping gifts because, again, it's Christmas Eve.
Of course.
And I explained to her what was going on. She immediately called 911. We went out to wait for the first responder and the ambulance to get there. They took me to the hospital. They did an EKG, and the EKG looked good. Then they checked my blood, and the first blood test came back and said everything was fine. All my uh, enzymes and everything were normal. But they're required to do 2 blood tests before they send you home because they were already talking
Yeah.
about sending me home. Second blood test came back that everything was elevated, and it indicated that I was having a heart attack. And the hospital I was at does not have a cath lab,
Mm-hmm.
which they needed to send me somewhere with a cath lab to find out, what was going on, if I had some severe blockages or whatever, or if it was just a minor thing. So they sent me up 100 miles to the hospital I went to for my previous heart attacks and stroke. Took me to the cath lab, and that's where they do a catheter. For most places, if you get a cath, they go through your groin to look at your heart and see what kind of blockages and stuff. In my case, they went through my wrist. Um, but the short answer, I recognized the symptoms of a heart attack. When they didn't go away, I told Tabby. Um, I know I explained more than what you just asked, but
No,
uh,
that's fine. That's fine.
to
Tank.
finish,
You
to
said it was.
finish, to finish where I was, when they took me to the cath lab, we found out my main artery was 99.9% blocked. And that's the one, when your main artery is blocked and you have a heart attack, that's typically called a widowmaker because most people don't survive it. But I did.
That is correct. That is correct. I've done a lot of research regarding that type of heart attack, and it isn't it is not a high survival rate.
Survival, right?
So this man is very, very lucky that he knew what he was looking for, and that they sent him to where they should rather than sending him home.
If I could add one thing, Paul, when I met my
Yeah,
surgeon at that hospital, he flat out told me if we'd have gone back home that night, I probably would have died that day.
yeah.
That's how severe my blockage was.
That is really bad. Similar thing happened to me regarding when I started having my problems with my heart. My body from there all the way down filled up with fluid. And if I hadn't gone to the doctor when I did go 3 days later, I would no longer have been here as well.
Thank you, Wendy. I'll let you ask the question before I answer it, Paul.
So Ted wants to know: did you know that there's an actual club for open heart patients? Would you join the Zipper Club?
I have joined the Zipper Club. I was aware because I'm not the first one in my family to join it. My dad had triple bypass in the 80s when he had a massive heart attack. Um, and my brother Mike in 2009 also had triple bypass. So I am the third member of the Zipper Club for my family, for my immediate family. I've also got uncles that had the surgery as well. But uh, so yes, I was well aware.
Thank you, Wendy. How did you feel when they told you what had happened?
Uh, well, it wasn't my first heart attack, so just knowing I've had a heart attack didn't scare me. But
Mm-hmm.
after I went to the cath lab and they told me about how severe that blockage was, and then I was looking at a triple bypass, maybe quadruple, if they could salvage or harvest enough good uh, artery out of my left leg.
Yeah,
I found out after the fact they did in fact do a quadruple bypass.
which I knew about. I was going to come on to that in a minute, but Mike McGifford wants to know: has the weather had any impact on your health?
The only impact is that it when it's really cold out, I don't do my walking outside. Now that I've started cardiac rehab 3 days a week, I'm in the hospital's cardiac rehab department, exercising and walking there and getting plenty of exercise, which should, I got 33 more, no, 35 more weeks to go of cardiac rehab before I'm finished. I anticipate by the end that my ability to exercise for a much longer period of time will, of course,
Improve.
even after you don't have, if you have a heart attack and you just get stents, you still early on you get tired really easily, and you have to
Yeah,
build the strength up and the endurance. And I know that'll come.
of course, of course. Trust you, Ted. So before we come on to Mike McGifford's question, how nervous was you when they told you the news of what happened to you?
I, the fact that I had a heart attack didn't bother me. The fact that I needed bypass surgery scared the shit out of me because it's always a risk. I mean, they open you up to get to your heart, so they got to go through, to cut the chest open. They crack the breastbone in half so they can spread the ribs apart and get to your heart. Then they stop the heart, and they told me all this beforehand,
Yeah.
so they can actually attach the new arteries to bypass the damaged part. And it scared the hell out of me um, until the morning of surgery. And the
Okay.
anesthesiologist was giving me, he said he was going to give me something to help me relax a little bit. And my thought was, well, I'm going to sleep and I may never wake up. But it's not something I had any control of. So I wasn't going to worry about it. And I just decided to enjoy the sleep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was lucky. They caught it. They caught mine when they did, and obviously, I had to have a defibrillator pacemaker fitted here.
Right.
Well, there's the scar,
Much
and
smaller
that was
scar than
in.
mine.
Oh yes, a lot much smaller scar than yours. And I was lucky enough to have a great doctor. He had a great team who helped me relax and stay relaxed until I went in for my surgery, and I was awake while they'd done that.
Well, I have to tell you, Paul, my surgeon had a great bedside manner. And as much as I could be reassured by my surgeon, I was. I really was comfortable with him, had no issue with him being the surgeon and doing the work on me. And the members of his team that I've met have all been amazing. So
Yeah,
that part of it was outstanding. I have no issues with any of that.
and same
And,
same with me
and,
and
and
the
Karen,
team.
they don't use a machine to keep the heart going. They use a machine to keep the blood moving throughout your body and keeping everything doing what it's supposed to do while they do the work on the heart. Then they restart the heart.
That is true. That is true. So we have a question from Mike McGifford. Has losing an artery from your leg caused any leg problems?
Problems? No. Initially, there was pain, of course, but like any pain, it was temporary, and I don't have any pain anymore. So I wouldn't say there are any problems. No.
As I'll recall you sending me a picture, and it wasn't very pretty, Tank. It was
No, it
not
was
very
pretty ugly,
pretty.
and it bruised very nicely.
Yes, it did. So Bugs has asked, once they told you, I know. Right, I'll just unpin the last question. I didn't mean to unpin yours because you must have pinned it at the time I unpinned it. So once they told you the surgery, what did you do to prepare yourself mentally and physically?
Um, I don't know that there's anything I could do to prepare myself physically. I was going to have the surgery or wait for the heart attack that would take me out. So there was no question what my decision would be. Um, Mentally, I tried not to think about what I was facing when I had the surgery on December the 30th. And like I said, it wasn't until the morning of, and they had, they shaved my chest and stomach, and was getting me physically prepared to go into the operating room. And they brought everybody in, and everybody, I mean Tabby and Olivia, Lizzie. Um, I believe Noah was with Olivia. So yeah, everybody that was there that wanted to come in, and Sam, uh, one of my good friends. And it was at that point when I realized I, I don't have any control how the surgery goes, and if I wake up or not, it's entirely up
Yeah,
to my surgical team. It's out of my hands. And it was silly to worry about something you can't, and it's really silly to worry about stuff you can't control in the first place. So,
exactly.
but it took me until the morning of to to get to that place mentally.
Of course, of course. So I've got a few more questions. I want to go.
Okay, I
Yeah.
couldn't remember exactly. Thank you,
So
baby.
my next question was to do with Tabby and Lizzie and everyone involved, every part of your family that come to see you. How did they cope with what you went through?
Honestly, I really can't answer with any certainty how they coped. I know they were probably as scared for me as I was. I know Olivia was worried. I know Tabby was worried. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but Tabby decided to be proactive. As I
Why not?
understand it, she started researching the kind of food stuff I would need to have in the house to eat and drink heart healthy, and then
Mm-hmm.
started bringing stuff like that in, so that when I came home, she'd be able to start making me heart healthy meals right away, which she did. But
Yeah.
as far as anything specifically how they coped, um, that maybe that's questions for the future. If I can never get one of them to sit up in this box and answer questions.
Yes, of course, brother, of course. How do you feel that your recovery's going so far?
I think my recovery is going as possibly well as it could be. Um, After the first week, there was really no more chest pain, um, and they gave me pain meds to take care of the chest pain when I had it. Including morphine. Um, I'm able to do the walk in and exercising that I need to do. I'm just now working on trying to push myself to do a little more and build my endurance, but not overdo it at the same time. Um,
Yeah,
but I think I am the best case scenario. What can happen after you have a widowmaker heart attack and the bypass surgery?
of course. I mean, you're not exactly going to come out of surgery, jump on a bike, and ride 10 miles, are you?
Oh no, no, no. Anybody who thinks they
So,
could is full of shit.
yeah, yeah. So, Ted Dweebert asked, how does it feel knowing so many people care for you?
It's humbling, to be honest with you, and I was so overwhelmed at how many people reached out to me. Not just on Clapper. A lot of people on Clapper did, but there's a lot of people that, because of building relationships with them, they have a way to get a hold of me off the app. And I had a bunch of them, like the real Tim Shady and Stormwitch.
Yeah,
They were reaching out. Jurita was reaching out. The entire Shocker crew, my Shocker crew friends. There were more people. I can't really name everyone because I'll forget somebody, but
hmm,
it was so humbling to know so many people cared, and the generosity of people that I'll never get over how generous people can be. And I particularly want to shout out Ankles 2.0 because she
yes, indeed.
she bought the recliner I'm sitting in while we're doing this interview. Also want to shout out Vamp, who is the obnoxious heifer. For those of you that don't know her by Vamp, she bought the table. She bought a table that would not only fit across this chair, it would fit across my bed. So there, like I said, there were so many people um, reaching out with such generosity of spirit that I don't know that I would have found anywhere else but Clapper. I can't imagine any other social media app where so many people would reach out and show that they cared.
I have got to admit the community on here is absolutely amazing. They are absolutely amazing. I went through something when my dad was in hospital. He was in a lot of trouble before he passed away, and a lot of friends helped me out with money because I couldn't work and all that type of stuff. And I'm truly grateful to my friendship.
Yeah.
Books,
And
books,
I was going to say
go on,
again,
sir.
that's where you have to shout out the Shocker Crew,
Of
because
course.
they will rally if you're having issues like what Paul had or what I had. They'll rally around you, but they're not going to baby you at the same time. They're going to show you the respect that you show them, but they're also going to treat the whole situation with humor. And if you're somebody like me, that is so important. Uh, if I could jump in a minute,
Yeah.
Paul, redheaded stepchild. This is an interview, so no one else is coming up in a box today. You're welcome to talk with us from the chat, ask me questions, as I am the guest and Paul is the host. But because I am the live host, he didn't know you had your hand up. So, all right, Paul. Sorry.
Not a problem, brother. Book 70 asks, is everyone changed to the same diet with you to ensure everyone is heart healthy?
Say that again, please.
Bug 70's asked, is everyone changing to the same diet with you to ensure everyone is heart healthy?
Well, yeah. As far as Tabby and Lizzie, they're younger. Their hearts are good. They can eat what they want. I'm sure, uh, and heart healthy diet is also an expensive diet to maintain. We have to watch the sodium content on anything we eat and
Mm-hmm.
drink, and Tabby does that. Um, and she does it amazing. Guys, you would think heart healthy means it doesn't taste as good, and I'm here to tell you that's bullshit, because Tabby feeds me absolutely delicious food that's also good for me. Um, if there was an issue, I'm quite sure Tabby's diet could change. Lizzie's 12.
Yeah.
They don't have to have the same diet as I do, and I hope they never have to be honest with you. However, I will still encourage, and there are friends that I have on here, and I will call one out by name. That's Peter Haywood, and he knows it. Peter Haywood had a heart attack when he was 30 years old, and I don't want him to travel down the road that I've been down. So I do stay on him about eating healthy, drinking healthy, stopping smoking, exercising more, and all this stuff that I should have been doing years ago and didn't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree completely. My life changed when they told me what I got. I made a lot of changes. I stopped drinking completely. It took me a bit longer to stop smoking, but I've been stopped smoking now nearly 14 months. Um,
Congratulations.
I I take my dog out for walks every day, providing the weather's good. I don't like
I bet.
getting wet, and I know Ralph don't like getting wet.
I'll bet the hardest part for you was to stop smoking.
It was the drinking wasn't really an issue. It didn't help my condition by all means. Don't get me wrong. When I was younger, the amount of the drink I did used to put away was unreal. But the
Right.
drinking weren't an issue. The smoking, it come to a point where New Year's Eve 2 years ago, well, just over a year ago, I said, that's it, I'm stopping, and I stopped it altogether. So Tabby has asked, Suzzlebug has asked, what has been your favourite post-surgery meal that she has made you so far?
That one's relatively easy because she made it for me for lunch today. She made me some fajitas with like cherry or grape sized tomatoes as a side and a little parfait cup. Um, and the fajitas were absolutely delicious. I mean, the fact that they fit within my heart healthy meal was exciting for me. Uh, so that would be my favorite. Although the pasta salad she makes for me is wonderful. I could eat that every day if I could.
Yeah, very good. So I'll go on to the next question. Mike McGifford's asked, do you find yourself getting less stressed after you began your recovery?
Um, yes, but it's intentional. I don't. I know stress is not good for the heart, and I have decided that I'm going to actually do what my doctors tell me I should do, and what Tabby says I should do, because I know Tabby doesn't go into anything blindly. She researches, and when she says something, I know she knows what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing what and not allowing things to stress me can only be good for my heart. Now there are some situations, it is what it is, but
Yeah,
um,
of course.
I allow. Well, there are going to be things that I'll just let roll off me now that I might not have in the past.
Of course. Of course. Have you encountered any issues since your surgery?
You mean physical issues?
Yeah.
Not really. Um, I did. Did inpatient rehab after the surgery and after they brought me off the surgical floor, and my inpatient rehab was 4 days. Because while you're there, you have to demonstrate you can dress yourself, you can go to the bathroom without help and clean yourself up. You can shower without assistance, um, and that you have to get up and walk around and do things. And I was able to show them I could do all that after 4 days.
Okay, so where's the pin question? Mike McGifford has asked, how has your weight changed since your surgery?
As of today, well, as of the last time I was on a scale, I've lost 46 pounds. Um, Part of
Awesome.
it, I'm sure it started with the hospital food and the portions they give you, and I got used to that portion size, and my portion size has stayed pretty close to that since I've been home. Uh, so my portions are probably, I'd say, about half maybe of what my portions used to be before my heart attack.
Yeah, that's good then. So Val, Gangster Granny's asked, is there a possibility that what happened to you was a genetic mutation?
Mutation, no. Genetic, yes. I am not the first in my family to have a heart attack. I'm. This was not my first heart attack, but my sister, my younger brother Mike, my dad, several uncles, my grandpa, so many family members that have had it in the past. And I'm like I mentioned earlier, I'm the third in my direct family to have open heart surgery. But there have been, like, I had an uncle who had, at 40 years old, massive heart attack, and he was dead before he hit the floor. I had a cousin. She was, I think she's 2 years younger than me, maybe three. She had, at the age of 50, she came home from grocery shopping, set her groceries on the table, and dropped dead on the floor from a heart attack.
My uncle went exactly the same way, and he never knew he's never had heart problems. Unfortunately, like you said, he come back from shopping with my auntie, took the shopping in, dropped down, he was
That's
gone.
why I know I'm blessed that I had survived this heart attack,
Yeah,
because it was a widowmaker. You're not supposed to survive those. They call it
no,
widowmaker for a
no.
reason.
Well, on my research, it's only got a 13% survival rate. So, to come through that is a true blessing, brother. It really is.
Yes, sir. I absolutely agree.
Exactly, Wendy. So even though you've already touched on the rehab, Ted Dweebert has asked, how are you doing with your rehabilitation?
Well, I've only just done my first week. I start my second week on Monday, but um, from Wednesday, now there's a I'm not allowed to use my arms until the end of the month. So they put me on a machine where I just pedal, and you can change the levels and gauge how far you would go, say if you were on a bike. So on Wednesday was my first day of actual exercise. They had me go for 6 minutes, and I made it to level 3 in those 6 minutes. So, and then I walked 7 laps on the track they had there at the rehab room. On Friday, I went 10 minutes on that bike, on the pedal thing, and walked 10 laps. And of course, at that point, they don't want me to overdo it. So after that,
Of course,
my day was done. That will improve. That will improve as I go, as I get
of
stronger,
course.
as my endurance comes back.
Agreed. Agreed. So are you in the same situation with me where you're not allowed to lift your arms above a certain height for so many weeks?
Until I saw my surgeon, I was not allowed to lift my arms above my shoulders.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those of
I
you
had the
that
same
saw me
thing.
live, you saw those handles I had called a heart hugger. Anytime I sit down or stand up or cough or sneeze, I had to squeeze that because all of that stuff could possibly cause a rupture in my uh,
Your surgical site.
incision. In my incision,
Surgical incision. Yes. Yes. So yeah, would say when I went, obviously I only had the pacemaker done, but I could not lift my arms above there,
right?
shoulder height for 6 weeks. And I don't know how long it's been for you, but that to me was fucking crippling
It was
because
about 6 weeks.
I've
It was
got
about
things
six
in the
weeks.
cupboard above my head height that I needed to reach, and I had to get Blade to come and get it for me because I wasn't allowed to do it. Oh, Wendy, very hard to do, and thank you, Crystal. So,
It,
my
it
gift is,
sucks. Let me tell you, it sucks when you can't put your hands above your head.
yeah.
So
But like I said, I've got cupboards in my kitchen, and my glass are on the top shelf, and I'm
yeah,
like the bottom of the cupboard comes about there.
right.
So, for me to reach up to reach a glass, I couldn't. I physically couldn't do. I weren't allowed to do it because they had to let the the lead into my heart settle, so they wouldn't move post surgery.
Yes, sir.
So, Mike McGifford has asked, do you plan to go mountain climbing or ride a bull named Fu Manchu?
While I do ascribe to the philosophy of that Tim McGraw song, "Live Like You Were Dying," um, I haven't done mountain climbing since I was in my 20s. So no, I don't intend to do that again. That's pretty strenuous physical activity. And I never intended to ride any bulls, let alone one that goes by the name of Fu Manchu.
On to my next question. How big a difference have the aids that you have in your home helped you?
The what? The AIDS?
The aids that you've had to put into your home, how they helped you out?
Well, the recliner's been uh, a godsend because one of the things they told me I have to do when I'm not actively exercising or doing some cleaning, like cleaning the kitchen, which those of you that know me, that's my regular job, um,
Yes, sir.
by my choice. But when I'm sitting, I need to have my feet up. Um, I'm sure that has to do with water retention, and they don't want me to swelling up and all that.
Yeah.
Um, I also now have a blood pressure cuff to take my blood pressure twice a day. I have an oximeter which measures blood oxygen and heart rate, which
Mm-hmm.
I use before and after exercise because they don't really want me to get more than 20 or 30 beats above my resting heart rate,
Yeah.
and that's invaluable for that. So the things that I've gotten, and again through so many generous donations from people, have been absolutely invaluable. Um, but nothing has been more helpful for me than Tabby and Lizzie.
Oh, I understand and agree, brother. I understand and agree. Ted asked a question. Well, we've covered it, Ted, but I'll ask it anyway. How is Tabby doing handling what happened to you?
Honestly, unless Tabby's willing to type her answer in, I can't answer for how she's feeling. I can tell you how I think she feels. I know it stressed her out, and then she got like a sinus infection or something like that too, um, for like a week, 8 days, 10 days, something like that, and she couldn't
Yeah,
come to the hospital and see me
she
because of
suffered
it.
for a few days. Sorry, brother.
Which she apologized for more than once, and I told her, um, I don't want you to come here and make me sick. I'm not upset I was not upset that she stayed home to get herself feeling better. I understood. I knew how she felt about not being able to come up and see me. Olivia got the flu while I was in the hospital and couldn't come
Yeah.
and see me. I know they both were not happy that they couldn't come to see me, but I understood, and I was never upset with either one of them for any reason.
Well, there's things within that ain't in their power, brother. Do you know what I mean? Those two things that happened to Tabby and Olivia, they could not control that at all.
Right.
And I guarantee a lot of it was down to probable stress and worrying over yourself.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, stress doesn't make you healthier. That's for sure.
No, it
Um,
doesn't.
but like I said, I am. If this had to happen, I'm glad it happened when I was with Tabby and not when I was with Satan, my ex-wife.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm telling you, it's she was. Yeah, that's a subject for another time. I'm just glad I couldn't chosen somebody better to have with me than Tabby.
Of course, brother. Tabby's a godsend, and you can't thank her enough for what she does.
Still not going to answer you, Ted. I'm not going to tell you.
Ted, behave. So, coming away from what you went through a little bit, I know you're a lifetime Steelers fan. Hey, Rob,
Yes, I am. Hey, Rob.
have you ever been to a game?
I have never been to a NFL game ever. I've been to two college games. One was a Navy game, and one was Clemson University. And I was in South Carolina visiting my friend John, and he took us to Clemson's homecoming game. That year, Clemson was 9-2, and the homecoming game was one of the two games they lost.
Okay, okay. Would you consider putting it on your bucket list?
It's been on my bucket list for years, but it's going to a pro football game is expensive, you know. So it may or
Fine.
may not ever happen. But yes, I'd love to be able to go to a game, even if it's
When
not the Steelers. I would love to go see a Chiefs game, which is the closest pro team to me. And
I understand that.
the one chance I had was Kansas City hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. What a better game for me to watch than that.
Oh yeah, of
But,
course.
but at the time I had the money for the tickets, I found out that I got the apartment I applied for and I had to do first and last month's rent security deposit. So there went that money and
Yeah.
I never got to go.
So if KC Chiefs fans in the air, Mr. Liam, hook a brother up. Hey Bray, welcome in.
Oh, good to
So
see you, Bree. I didn't even see her come in.
yeah, she's literally just come through. There she is. There's Brie. So Book 70's asked, what have you tried that's new to your diet that you actually like?
That's new to my diet. Tilapia, fish. Um, I haven't eaten fish for years because I don't like seafood. But I told Tabby because I know seafood is very heart healthy and is good for the brain. I told her I wanted her to start introducing fish into my diet. She made tilapia, and I was surprised that I enjoyed it.
Never tried tilapia. I've tried other fish, but never tilapia. So Ted's question covers Wendy's question as well. And basically, they both said, "What is your outlook about life since?" Wendy's
Uh,
put on beside the obvious reasons,
yeah,
but
honestly, I feel like um, this is a second chance. I mean, more so than after the stroke or the other heart attacks, because this one could have took me out. Um, you know, I know I'm blessed to still be here, and it's my responsibility to take care of myself to stick around for a while. You
of
know,
course,
as I can't answer for the people that love me as to what they were thinking when I was going into surgery and all that. I know that I had a lot of people praying for me, for which I'm very grateful, very thankful. But I'm taking care of myself, losing weight, and doing everything I need to do to get myself back to good health. And if I could plug my club for a minute, it's called Heart Health, a lifestyle. Guys, I have to have a heart healthy lifestyle now, because to do anything less puts me at risk for another heart attack, and another heart attack could kill me. And I don't want to do that. But I encourage anyone, if you're interested in being more healthy, the whole purpose of this club is just to pass information on things you can do. You know, everybody doesn't have to do exactly what I'm doing, but there are things you can do to better yourself, to get healthier, and stick around for the people that love you.
I completely agree with what you just said, brother. And even though mine wasn't as serious as what yours was, when my doctor told me if I hadn't gone to see them 3 days later, I'd no longer be here, I changed all that. You know what I
That
mean?
doesn't. I wouldn't say what happened with you was not any less serious, um, just different.
Yeah, I agree. It was completely different in a sense. So, but I'm thankful that I've done what I did and got with the team that I did at the time. And like I said, my surgeon was absolutely brilliant when he done the procedure he did on me. Peter, welcome in, brother. So, Peter Tracy Haywood has asked, "Tank, brother, what advice would you give anyone with an unhealthy lifestyle?"
Change today. If you're doing something you know is not good for your health, and Peter, I know you smoke, I know you drink. Both of those things can be. I mean, well, smoking is definitely bad for your health. Drinking can be if you drink too much. A couple of drinks doesn't hurt the body. If you know they're detrimental to your health, make changes. Um, Now is the time. Don't wait like I did until you have a heart attack and major surgery, because number one, the heart attack you may not survive the heart attack. If you do, you might not survive the surgery. That's a very real risk every time, because they open you up, they stop your heart, they do surgery on it, then they start it up and close you back up. You know, now the technology's good, the surgeons are phenomenal, so your chances of surviving it are pretty good, but not everybody does, and there's a reason for that. All I would say is, if you know there are things that are healthy that you're doing, stop them. They're, if not for you, for you, if I can call you for a minute, Peter, if not for yourself, then stop them for Tracy. Because think of what happens if you have a heart attack and you don't survive. What's that going to do to her? If,
That
at least do the best you can to take care of the body you have. You only get one. You know,
is so
um,
true.
I've been blessed. I've been blessed that I'm still here for everything I've been through. But this is absolutely on me. If I want to have any significant number of years beyond this one, and I'm doing everything I can to become as healthy as I can be. And if that means you can't eat stuff that you love to eat, I love pasta, spaghetti, that kind of stuff. That's pretty much gone from my diet because it's high sodium. It's really not healthy for somebody in my situation. Go ahead,
So,
Paul. Throw it at me.
oh God, Ted. So, Bug 70's asked, so now that you survived the Widowmaker, will you be going to Disney World?
If I ever go to Disney World again, because I've been before, it will be to take grandchildren, because I never got the opportunity and could never afford to take my children. And I would hope if we could do that, that like me and Olivia and Tabby and Noah, we combine our resources to be able to take Olivia's kids to enjoy Disney World. I will say I went 1976, our bicentennial, had a phenomenal day at the park, and then saw the absolute best fireworks display I've ever seen, and haven't seen it. I haven't seen it top since, and I'm 62 years old. I was 13 then. The
Yeah,
bicentennial fireworks display was the best ever. Oh yes, yeah. I would love to be able to take Lizzie, baby. I'm sorry.
maybe it's something to plan, Tank.
You know, we'd have to start saving. I don't know, 8 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's not cheap. Yeah, I know. They've got one in Paris, which isn't far from me. I looked into taking the boys when Blake was about 4 years of age. It would have cost me probably about 3.5 grand for about 3-4 days.
Go ahead and ask Ted's question. I got an answer for him.
So Ted Dweebert has asked, Tank, have you tried your new heart out yet? Wink, wink.
The fast, easy answer is yes. I have. I go out walking every day. I do cardiac rehab 3 times a week. I wake up every morning. I live my life and go through my day. Now, if you're asking for anything more specific than that, it's none of your business.
We knew it had to come sooner or later, didn't we? We knew it had to come sooner or later. But no, going back to the Disney thing, like Ronan said, it's not cheap. And like I said, 3.5 grand for me to go across the water to Paris. So there you right. So Peter Tracy Hayward has asked, Tank brother, when you was in hospital, were there other people there who'd suffered the same as yourself?
There were other people there uh, who had had heart attacks. I was not the only person that had a bypass surgery, and there were other people in rehab for that. There's people I'm going to cardiac rehab with. It's called cardiac rehab because it deals with the heart. So people that are recovering from heart attacks and strokes, and some maybe I'm sure some have had the same surgery or similar surgery. So yes, I am not the only person going through this. Um, and I take my hat off to anyone that's survived a heart attack and the bypass surgeries, because it's not easy, and it's not.
No.
I don't recommend it as a lifestyle change. Trust me. Make the changes
Oh no.
first before you have to do it. Oh, look, I
So
answered the question before she asked it.
yeah, yeah, of course. I was meant to say that. But you know what, Peter? Like we've pointed out throughout this interview, we've both suffered heart issues, completely different, but they're still heart issues. Yeah. I'm 50. I never thought I'd see the day where I was sat here saying that if I hadn't have had this put in, who knows what would have happened.
And
So
a heart attack, understand, there is never a guarantee if you have a heart attack that you'll survive it. Never.
no,
Even a
no,
mild heart attack can take you out. Um, you know, I was blessed. I was told after the fact that I actually had very little damage to my heart this
yeah,
time, because the initial heart attack itself was not severe. And if it had been, I probably wouldn't have survived it. and we got me to the hospital, got me on blood thinners, and stayed on blood thinners till the surgery. So I was very lucky. If you know there's history, and Peter, it doesn't matter what caused you to have the heart attack you had. I know your story about how it happened, but the fact is, once you've had a heart attack, you're high risk to have another
Yeah.
one. So the best thing you can do is take absolute care of yourself. Eat right, exercise, stop smoking. That's a big one. Um, Improve your odds. Live to be an old man.
Okay, Mike, no problem. But no, right. Like I've just said, me and Tank have had two different cardiac issues, both been treated differently. Okay. My dad was 79 when he passed, but not from his heart condition, but he had a heart condition. He had stents put in. He was lucky not to go through a bypass, but it gave him extra lease of life, like Tanks has, and like you know, mine is a muscle issue. The one side of my heart's not as big as the other side, but hopefully with this device and the medication that I'm on, that will improve. This still isn't going to come out of my body until the day I pass away. This is there
Yeah.
now for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I will say this. My dad, I mentioned he had his triple bypass. He was in his early 40s when he had the massive heart attack and the triple bypass. When he was 51, he was having issue being able to exercise, and he used to ride an exercise bike every day in his bedroom, and then he would go out and run every other day. And he got to where he couldn't do that, and he went and saw his cardiologist, and they told him he needed to bypass the one part of his heart that had been damaged from his big heart attack. They told him he could either do the bypass surgery or wait for a heart attack that would probably kill him. That's the way they put it to him. So he
Yeah.
opted for the bypass surgery, and within 36 hours post surgery, he was gone. He died at 51. Nothing is guaranteed. He was given 8 or 9 more years because he had the triple bypass when he had his first big heart attack. Um, rather than rather than focus on the fact that he died so young, because he did die really young.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that he got 8 or 9 more years post bypass surgery first time around. Now my
Of
brother Mike
course.
had his when he in 2009, so this is uh, 17 years later, 16 and a half, 17 years later. He has other health issues, but he's still with us.
Yeah.
I don't know how many more years I've got, but I am going to take care of myself for all of them. I am thankful to have somebody like Tabby that's willing to take care of me. And, she doesn't mind doing the cooking, which is why I like being able to clean up everything for her. So she's got a clean kitchen to work in. That's a agreement that works well for both of us. We both like that. And she does, you know, she, I know that I'm always going to eat well because Tabby makes sure I have everything I need. You know, whether she does whether she grocery shops herself or she makes a list and sends me, she's still the one selecting everything that comes into this house. It's not that I can't, but she's better at it. So,
Of course, I agree with that. So, book 70 is that. So, are we planning a hard club marathon for the future with the possibility of an obstacle course?
I wouldn't bet on it. I'm not
I,
going to say I won't start running sometime in the future, but I
I'll
wouldn't bet
tell
on
you
any
what.
marathons or anything like
I'll
that.
tell you what, Bugs. You get two wheelchairs when I come over next this year, and me and Tank will have a wheelchair race.
Oh, there you go. Not just wheelchairs, get scooters so we can control the speed ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. So, Ted Dweebert asks, having a new lease of life, do you have any plans that you didn't have before?
Um, I am my point. I am going to make a point to attempt to meet more of my clapper friends. Um, I, I I missed on the opportunity to meet Paul when he came to the States for Jess and Ryan's wedding. So he's planning on coming back, and I don't care where I have to go, but I will drive to meet him and Blake when they come back. I absolutely intend to meet Ankles, who, like I said, provided this chair and a couple other things. And Tootie Fruity, because I missed seeing her as well.
Yeah, in October. Yeah.
Um, I've got friends. I've got a lot of friends on here that I've never met that I'd love to. Wicked Woman Leatherworks, who's one of the best people you'll ever meet. She lives way out in Oregon. So if I can ever make it, we ever can afford a trip out that way, then we'll do that. If there are, excuse me, Paul, I saw his question. Go ahead and ask it.
Yeah,
So,
carry on, brother. Carry
all
on.
right. Mike's asking if there's any limitations on airplane rides. To my knowledge, no. I don't have anything implanted in me, just other parts of they took arteries out of my leg and put it in my heart. So everything inside my body is still mine.
Okay. So I'm going to touch on what you just said, okay? I thought the same when I come out in October last year. I have a card, I carry my wallet telling the security what I've got, but their machines are safe to go through. They've made the machines safe so you can walk through whether you've got an implant or something inside your body or not.
Now, I do know I have to tell, like before I get an MRI done or anything, I do have to, and I do. They gave me a card saying it illustrates the bypasses that I had because there was 4 of them, and
Yeah.
I have to inform them that I've had a bypass. And I'm sure if I go to the airport before I go through their metal detector or anything, not that to my knowledge, there's nothing metal inside me other than maybe what they stitched my breastbone back together with.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have to let them know that I've had this bypass before I do that. So if that would be a restriction, I guess, or it's just a change to me.
Well, what Wendy said, the change in air pressure can't be good right now. Right now, Wendy, I'd probably say no, it isn't. But I flew out to America a month and a half after I had my implanting. And I had no issues at all. So
Val, you have your hand up for you want? Are you wanting to ask something on camera? In the meantime, Paul, you can ask the next question.
So Peter has asked, who do you intend to interview when you start the interviews again?
Well, I want to reach out to Toy Extraordinaire and to Piano Mike because they were the next 2 interviews I had scheduled when I had my heart attack. In fact, I had to cancel with Toy Extraordinaire because of the heart attack. And of course, because I was in the hospital, I couldn't interview Piano Mike either. So I want to get those 2. I want to interview those 2 if I can, if they're still willing. And then from there, it just depends. There are people I want to ask, but I'd never assume anything. I'm going to bring. I know this is not what I normally do. I'm going to bring Val up for a minute.
Okay, no worries.
Hi guys. Right, okay. So, not to put a damper on things, Wendy, what you said about airplanes and pressures, okay, it's not going to affect them too. One, they've got no brains. I mean, what? Sorry, I wasn't muted. Airplanes are their cabins are pressurized, so it doesn't matter how high you go. It's the same with submarines. Doesn't matter how low you go. They keep the cabins pressurized for that purpose, so that you don't go passing out. You don't, unless you're a complete and utter snowflake. So yeah, just so you know, yeah, I get on a plane and before it's even left the runway, I'm fast asleep and I wake up about half an hour before we land. You know, that's a 9-hour flight. I sleep through the lot. No, you don't have issues like that. Tank certainly wouldn't. If I had a little beeper for his one, I'd be there in the beep going, beep, and I'm going. Just because it would be funny. I'm just saying. Sorry about that. Sorry for interrupting. So I'm just saying.
Nope. No problem, Val.
Yeah, what Tabby says there, you know, like the only problem is if you lose pressure, that's when you bend over and kiss your own ass goodbye. I'm just saying, you know, it's a bit, or the person next to you, depends on who it is, if he's good looking enough, you know.
Oh, you got time for one more question, brother?
Well, while we wait and see if we do get one more question, I'll ask you the question you ask everybody else. I would now like to give the guest a chance to do a shout out.
Without question, my shout out is for Tabby and Lizzie, and I have to include Ankles. Not that I don't appreciate everyone's generosity, but I know what this recliner costs, and the fact that she would do that for a friend absolutely just floors me. It's truly that generosity is amazing to me, and Tabby and Lizzie, because they take care of me. Really, they don't have to. I'm a big boy. I can do all the stuff myself,
Yeah.
but they do take care of me far, far better probably than I deserve.
And you're worth it, brother. You're
I
worth it.
appreciate it.
So, Peter Tracy Haywood, the final question, I know he's probably been covered, but what's your favourite healthy food you're eating now?
Well, it's the same answer when I got asked what my favorite meal that Tabby asked me, the favorite meal she's prepared for me. Up to this point, it's the fajitas that she's making for me. They are truly delicious. She knows I'm not big on real spicy stuff, so they got just enough spice to them to enjoy, but not so much that I don't want to eat it. So they were really phenomenally good. And then the closely followed by the pasta salad. Again, I could eat that pasta salad every day and never get tired of it.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Well, sir, we're at the top of the hour.
All right. I don't have another scheduled interview. So where this is normally where I'd say who the next interview is going to be with, or it would have been a little bit earlier. That's why there was no announcement of who's next. If I get an agreement, then my next interview hopefully will be with Toy Extraordinaire in 2 weeks. We are not going to have an interview next week while I get some time to line up some guests and then prepare some questions. But again, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Paul, I really appreciate you taking over and filling in as host and asking the questions, brother. It means a lot.
It was an honor, brother. Like I said, it was an honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And with that, y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on this Clapper Streets.
Catch you all soon.